Henry William Henderson was the brother of Alexander Henderson, the first Lord Farringdon, and together they had a stockbroking business that underwrote railway construction in Spain, Cuba and Argentina. His wife Elvira and their 4 children lived at 9 Prince's Gardens, Kensington. According to the 1901 census, the household included a school governess, 2 nurses, a butler, 2 footmen, a boot boy, a cook, a lodge maid, and 4 housemaids. In 1898, Henry William Henderson and his family rented a country estate at Surge Hill in Bedmond, Hertfordshire, where they spent their weekends playing an active part in the village affairs of Bedmond and Abbots Langley. This is what Surge Hill looks like today. Henry's wife Elvira was born in New York on the 23rd of September 1870. She was the only daughter of Aline Lefebvre, who at the age of 17 was pregnant with Elvira and eloped with her Spanish tutor Thomas de Orihuela. There is no record of a marriage between Thomas and Aline, and less than 5 years later Thomas died on the 31st of May 1875. Life changed after the death of Thomas when Aline met Joseph Todd, who had been a merchant banker in Havana and became the chairman of the Cuban Central Railway Company and also the Central Argentine Railway Company. Elvira, Aline and Joseph travelled from New York to London, where on the 14th of June 1879 Aline and Joseph married at St George's in Hanover Square, and the 3 of them lived together at 33 Eaton Place, Belgravia. Elvira and Henry William Henderson married on the 14th of June 1890, and their first home was in Ealing. In 1897 they moved to Kensington with their 4 children, Aline, Elvira Maud, Ronald and Violet. On the 18th of December 1901, Elvira died in labour with her 5th child at her Kensington home. On the 28th of December, the Watford Observer reported, "The funeral took place at Abbots Langley Church on Saturday at 3 o'clock. The body, which had been brought by rail to Watford, was already in the church, which was filled with relatives and friends, many of them coming from town." On the 7th of June 1902, the Watford Observer reported, "Mr. H. W. Henderson of Surge Hill is making a munificent gift to the church in the shape of a very handsome church room, which is now in the course of erection in Abbots Langley High Street." The project was completed in December 1902 and included a brass plaque in memory of Elvira, which reads, "Erected in loving memory of Elvira Henderson by her husband for the perpetual use of the church and the village of Abbots Langley, 1902. In the north aisle of St Lawrence Church is a window of the Madonna and Child made by Whitefriars Glass of London and dedicated to Elvira Henderson on the 13th of July 1912. A brass plaque on a nearby pillar reads, "To the glory of God, and in memory of Elvira Henderson, the window above the altar in this chapel of the Holy Name is dedicated by her mother, Aline Todd." At around the same time that Henry Henderson had agreed to underwrite the cost of constructing the Henderson Hall, Elvira's mother Aline was formulating plans for a memorial chapel at Mornish on her husband's baronial estate in Scotland. The foundation stone for the chapel was laid during the summer of 1902, and the chapel was completed in 1903. In the eastern gable, a stained glass window by Tiffany Studios of New York was installed, said to depict Elvira and her 4 children. An article in the Scotsman dated the 25th of August 1903 reads, "In the East End there has been erected a very beautiful window bought in America and costing £1,300. Aline Todd died on the 16th of February 1924, and her husband Joseph died 2 years later. They are buried behind the Moorish chapel under the east window. Their sarcophagi are replicas of Elvira's sarcophagus in St. Lawrence Churchyard, Abbots Langley. Henry and Elvira's son, Ronald, became a career soldier, serving as a lieutenant in the First World War and as a major during the Second World War. In 1917 he married Marjorie Garrard, whose father owned Garrard's, the Crown Jewellers in Mayfair, and they had 3 children together. They divorced in 1928 after he ran off with his mistress, and Ronald's final years were spent in an apartment in Kensington, where he died in 1956. He never forgot his roots in Abbots Langley. He is buried near his mother in St. Lawrence Churchyard, and an obituary in the parish magazine tells of his frequent visits to open church fêtes, and refers to Elvira Henderson's tomb, which it says was sculpted by Sir George Frampton, who famously made the statue of Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens. For more information about the history of the Henderson family, go to allhs.org.uk and follow the link, What do you know about Abbots Langley?